Hi, this is Michael Senoff with Michael Senoff's HardToFindSeminars.com. Make sure you tune into my interview on Amazing Women of Power, the world's leading positive programming network powered by Raven International. Don't wait to be great. Do it now.
This is Lynn Rose, where voice meets vision, LynnRose.com, and you're listening to Raven, the talk show maven. Don't wait to be great.
Hi, this is Ernie Hudson, actor, writer, speaker, and you listen to Raven, the talk show maven. Don't wait to be great radio summit. I've had a wonderful time talking and exploring and just discovering with Raven on the Amazing Women of Power radio station. Tune in, enjoy it. It'll be a wonderful experience and a life-changing experience for you.
Don't wait to be great. Do it now. Don't you hesitate.
Hi, this is Kristen Sharma
and Janie Leidy of Love and Light Sisters.
You are listening to Raven, the talk show maven, on Amazing Women of Power.
Don't wait to be great Global Radio Summit.
Don't wait to be great. Do it now. Don't you hesitate. Get more life out of living, more living out of life. Don't wait to be great. Don't wait to be great. Don't wait to be great.
Hey everyone, welcome to Don't Wait to Be Great, a special edition that we're doing, part of our ongoing radio summit, not telesummit, radio summit, because we are live on the air, and this is Amazing Women and Men of Power, world's leading positive programming radio network, powered by Raven International. Hey, that would be me. This particular interview, you are going to be able to read it in the Amazing Women magazine, as well as hear it on Amazing Women of Power and the Radio Global Summit. Don't wait to be great. I have a very special guest. I tell him all the time I'm his number one fan, and I'm truly, truly, truly excited to bring our guest today to you, because you are going to learn just as much as I've learned throughout the years. I was probably doing interviews maybe, I started in 2006, so a couple years, 2.5 years before I met this dynamic person I'm getting ready to bring on. And then I heard about him from my sister, and she said, you know what? You need to tune in to this person, and his name is Michael Senoff. I plugged into him, and wow, I was able to take my already, I thought, pretty good interviewing skills and really make them soar and really learn the magic and the power of interviews. I stepped up, show up, and grown up in my business. Like I always tell my mastermind students, I know a lot of you are tuning in because I put the word out, hey, you want to hear from one of my mentors? Be here today. What is his name? Well, his name is Michael Senoff. He's the founder of HardToFindSeminars.com. It's an elite interview platform for the most sought-after marketers, trainers, and best business minds in the world today. I mean, you're going to hear people like Tom Hopkins, actress Suzanne Summers, Robert Kiyosaki, Nightingale Conant, Jay Abraham's seminars on there. It's going to be so much. Things from how to build a business, how to do joint ventures, cold calling, copying. Oh, my goodness. Making money from interviews, making money from bad ideas. Is that a good one? And I could just go on and on. It is a magical site. You definitely want to plug into it and follow it as I have. Michael, as I said, is the founder and executive producer of Hard to Find Seminars, and he is just an amazing man. He's so authentic, so real, so humble, and he's just so great. So when I think of Don't Wait to Be Great, how you can take something that's maybe not necessarily huge in some people's eyesight, but it can be great. And it got me to thinking, it doesn't have to be big to be great. You just got to tap into the power of what you have and know what you can do with it. Learn how to work that magic, and he definitely can show you how. Today, I'm going to be spending time with my mentor and talking to him heart to heart, digging out some insider golden nuggets, recipes for interviewing success that will show you how to profit from your interviews, turning those into a serious, ongoing, steady cash machine. All together now. Ka-ching, 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 ching, ching. Michael Sinoff, come on down. How you doing?
Raven, you're so sweet. Is that all you had to say about me? From my number one fan, let's do that for the whole hour.
Absolutely. How are you?
I'm very good. That's very sweet. Thank you for the very kind and warm introduction, and I'm happy to be here with you, and you are my number one fan. I love it.
Absolutely. Well, you know, Michael, you've seen me grow through all the things that I learned from you, and I'm one of your students that took this stuff and put it into action. So we want to tell the listeners the one thing: you can come and listen to my interviews or Michael's interviews as many times over and over again. We welcome you, but you gotta implement, you gotta take action. Isn't that right, Michael?
That's absolutely true. You can listen all you want, and I probably have a lot of addicted people. I get emails all the time that say your interviews are like crack cocaine, and I can't stop listening, and I'm absolutely stunned. I get calls from people who say, I have listened to every single one of your interviews, and I have hundreds of hours. And I'm like, are you serious? But people, you can get addicted to learning and listening, but if you're not going to get off your butt and make something happen, the ka-chings aren't going to come in.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And that's what we're going to be talking about that today, making that stuff happen, because we want you to get out there and implement it, and you can make money from this. And I have people ask me all the time, well, I know you do these interviews, I know you teach people how to interview, but can you make money? Yes, you can make money. But even one of the things I always tell people, even if I never made a dime from these interviews we do, Michael, we learn so much. I always tell my students and my friends and family, you know what, you can't interview all these greats and it not rub off on you. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree. I mean, I started interviewing people for a selfish motive. I just, it's a great license to steal all their ideas. So when you approach someone, you say, I want to do an interview with you, and they're a nice person and you're a nice person, people love talking about themselves. And if you are willing to listen, they will talk and talk, and they will tell you all their secrets. So when I started, it was a time I wanted to learn as much as I could about marketing. So I just picked out the mentors I wanted to learn from and asked to be able to interview them, and I promised them I'd share that interview as best as I could. I didn't have to prove to them how many people would listen to it, but I would give my best effort. And any audio interview is promotion for the person, so it's all good advertising. And if you ask the right questions, they'll tell you everything you want to know. So selfishly, I just wanted to pick their brains and learn the shortcuts to their secrets in whatever they were doing for myself. And then, I started sharing that, and we'll get into more of that shortly, I'm sure.
Absolutely, absolutely, because that's what we're here today. We're going to just dig deep and we're doing the interview Michael Sinoff style. I'm going straight for the questions, throwing out the radio personality stuff, and we're just going for it. How about that?
That's perfect.
Okay, good. So how long did it take you to get going, to get your website with all those interviews up, and what the heck inspired you to do it that way?
Well, it's been a process. I mean, I've been at this. I've had the site since 2002, and it all started when I was pretty new to San Diego, and I was living down in a one-bedroom apartment down in Pacific Beach, and I wanted to learn marketing. I had a little pen manufacturing business, and so I wanted to learn marketing. I came across this marketing genius, Jay Abraham, and I heard about him, and I wanted to get a hold of some of his seminars. I had heard that people actually paid $20,000 to go to these 4- and 5-day seminars, and I didn't have $20,000. I was broke, and living on macaroni and cheese and barely getting by. But I found someone who had a list of all the people who went to the $20,000 seminars. They had the names and the addresses and the phone numbers. And I was able to convince him at first to fax me the list of all the people in California who went to the $20,000 seminars. And then I was going to call these people and see if they had the cassette tapes and the books and all the stuff that they came home with after the seminar. So when you go to the $20,000 seminar, Jay Abraham would load you up on all the cassette tapes, the recordings of the seminars. Later it became the CDs and the DVDs, the books, and then I was able to find someone right in San Diego who went to the seminar. They had all the stuff sitting in the box, nice and pretty, never broke it open, and I bought it from her for $50.
Wow.
So it all started. I wanted to get my hands on all this information. I was able to get it for $50. And then at the same time, eBay was becoming really popular. I had devoured the material, and I had just gotten a Sony Movica camera. This was the first camera that you could insert a floppy disk in, and the stock was going through the roof, and I had told my fiance at the time, I'm going to sell my Jay Abraham tapes, and I put an auction up on eBay and sold all the tapes and the books and stuff that I had already listened to for $900 on eBay. And then I'm like, wow, there's some money in this. And then I started calling all the other people from the list of 900 people, trying to find as many sets of the Jay Abraham tapes as I could, and started a business selling them on eBay. And that's when I started the website, Hard to Find Seminars. So I was selling Hard to Find Seminars. I was selling marketing material that cost people $20,000 to go to. Some of the seminars were $15,000. I think he does seminars that are $30,000. And I was able to sell that same information that people paid all that money for pennies on the dollar. And eBay was really rocking and rolling. It was the early days, and I made a lot of money buying and selling those tapes. So that's what got me going, is eBay and wanting the marketing information very inexpensively. But there was a problem. I couldn't go copy this stuff. There was a limited supply. I only had a certain amount of inventory that I could buy and resell, and I knew I was going to be running out. So this was not a good long-term strategy, and I certainly wasn't going to counterfeit the material. So I knew I had to start creating my own products to sell, because I had put up a website for Hard to Find Seminars. The whole goal was to sell them pre-owned Jay Abraham and Gary Halbert and the other marketing guys who were around during that time, to sell them those physical products. But the writing was on the wall. I had to create and develop my own information products. And I just happened to had downloaded this piece of software off the internet in my apartment in Pacific Beach. This was before cable and broadband internet access. Everyone else was on that dial-up modem, the 56K modem, and you can probably remember how slow it was to download stuff. Well, New York City and Pacific Beach and San Diego were the very first test cities for Time Warner Cable. So I got a high-speed internet connection even back in 2002. So I had a little bit of advantage. I could navigate the internet a lot faster than most people, and I think that really helped, because I think back then it would have been so frustrating I probably would have given up. But I had downloaded this piece of software, and I had recorded a conversation with a colleague. We were just talking, and we just had a great conversation on marketing, and I had recorded this short recording, and I put it up on my website, and I used it as a way to kind of automate and smooth over the process to tell someone what to do. And that's how it all started. It was very archaic. The software didn't work very good, but that's where it all started. And I just started recording my conversations with other fellow marketing people, and I would put them up onto this website, and as a way to get people to the site so they could learn that I'm the guy who sells the pre-owned Jay Abraham marketing materials for pennies on the dollar. And then over, another 12 years, it just snowballed. I kept doing more and more audio interviews and just stepping it up, and we'll get into that and some of the strategies I used. But that's kind of how it started.
Wow. Of course, I've heard that story before, and every time it motivates and inspires me to, just tap into the creativeness and listen to that voice inside you, because what I'm hearing from you is it started with one thing and then it kind of snowballed, and a lot of times I speak to the audience about how important it is to just go with your gut and don't be afraid and be trying to dot the I's and cross the T's and figure everything out, because sometimes you just need to let and see where it's going to take you. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree. That's why it's so important. If you're sitting on the fence and you want to do something, you need to just do it and be willing to fail and do it badly, because you never know where it's going to take you. You never know who it's going to put you in touch with. You just don't know. You have to have faith and you just know that the first time out, it's going to be terrible. I mean, we'll talk about this, but I look at some of my first recordings and some of the interviews. I didn't think I was going to have this huge website and be the interview guy, and I kick myself every time if I ever listen to these, because they were so poorly done. I wish I had done it right from the beginning, but it doesn't always work out like that. But yes, you need to take action, because you just don't know where it's going to lead, and that's probably true for all super successful entrepreneurs and a lot of inventions. Some of the biggest inventions were all mistakes at first, but they were mistakes because someone took action and they were willing to try.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we are so glad you did, for sure. Okay, for those that are wondering why interview, what do you feel are, let's just say, your top 2 benefits of interviewing the experts?
Look, it all comes, there's one thing we all have a certain amount of, and that is time. Time is your most valuable commodity in your life. Everyone, all your listeners have busy lives, they have careers, they may have family, they have work, they have friends. There's only 24 hours in a day, and most people I know have to sleep at least about 7 or 8 hours, or it's going to catch up with you if you don't. So time is your most valuable and precious commodity. No one wants to be at work at a job they don't like. They'd rather be doing what they want to do. If they knew that they could have a business or a sideline hustle that they could make enough money, the same money that they would be making at their job, they would be doing that, because people want to do what they want to do. So the biggest benefits of audio interviews for me has been it's a time leveraging device. It allows me to put a sales message in front of someone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It doesn't get tired. It doesn't complain. If there's a person willing to click on the little play button or download it or click on their iPhone or smartphone and play that interview, it delivers for me. And so it's an automated selling robot. That's what interviews will do for you if you're designing an interview that's designed to sell something that you make money for. So I would say the biggest and most important thing is it will buy you your time back.
Buy you your time back. I love that. I love when you said it's time leveraging device. So absolutely true. Now, I know for a fact you do all types of interviews, Michael, but tell us maybe 3 types of interviews that you love to do and conduct, and how exactly do they differ?
Okay, that's a great question. One interview type I would call an interview for marquee value. First of all, your listeners have to understand the interviews are designed to do different things. The marquee value interview is when you go after a big name, someone who's known in the world. It could be a celebrity interview. Think about when Oprah brings on Tom Cruise. That's a big deal. People are going to tune in because they want to listen to Oprah interviewing Tom Cruise. So if you could get an interview with Tom Cruise, I bet you some of your family and friends may want to check that out, rather than an interview with John Smith, who, may be a plumber down the street. Well, I go, who's John Smith? Why do I want to listen to him? So you want to go after, with the marquee interview, a big name that everyone knows, because that will get you eyeballs and will get you ears listening to the interview. Now, there's a strategy behind this. The whole idea is to build a list of listeners. And the way I do it is I build an email list. So I want to get people to my website. I want to give them that marquee value, say the interview with Tom Cruise, because people want to listen to it, and they have to go to a page on my website, and everyone who goes to a page on my website will have an opportunity to enter their email address and their name, because I have a pop-up that comes onto my website on every page, and it's not that annoying. Some people would be annoyed about it, and some people are hesitant to putting a pop-up on their website. But this is the whole secret. You have to build a list of subscribers that you can contact. So the goal for me of a marquee value interview and interviewing a big name is get people to the website to listen to or download the free interview. They will have an opportunity to enter an email address and a name. Then I have them on my email list, and then I can sell them something, or I can build a relationship with them, or i.e., we do both. I build a relationship with them, I add more value, I am able to share other interviews with them, and in between all that, I can make them special offers on products that I've developed over the years that they may be interested in. So it's all about getting that name. The marquee value is to get more people to the site, to get more email addresses. That is the bottom line. If you don't have names and email addresses of people you can keep in contact with them, then it's not going to fare very well. You can do interviews all year, but if you don't have people that you can connect with, it's not going to do you much good financially.
Absolutely. What would be the second type of interview?
Second interview, if I'm developing a product, say we'll talk about, I've got a special for your listeners on a product I call Audio Marketing Secrets, where I go into great detail of exactly how Michael Senoff makes money with audio interviews. So I have probably 25 different products. So if I want to enhance an existing product, I will do an interview related to the subject. So let's say it's a topic on audio marketing. Let's say it's on audio marketing. Mm-hmm. Let's say I want to increase the value of that product. So I'm going to call you, Raven, and I'm going to interview you on how you've been able to use audio interviews with your radio show and with your magazine to make more money, to increase value in your information products. And you will become an expert, and you'll become part of my product, Audio Marketing Secrets. So I have now a new expert who's doing very well, and I've increased the value of my product, and that allows me to offer it for more money. It increases the value. So one type of interview is an interview where you're building your product. It's like they're building blocks, and the more interviews you have, the more packaging you can do, and the more products you can create. So it's a product building situation, building value in existing products. And then another type of interview would be a straight-on interview that is designed to sell something. So I may set up an interview. For instance, I did an interview with a guy named Jordan Belfort. Jordan Belfort was the character that the movie The Wolf of Wall Street was based around. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I love that. I just watched that a couple of weeks ago. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I've got an interview with the real Jordan Belfort. But before I set up the interview, I signed up as an affiliate for him, and he has a product that he sells called the Straight Line Selling System. So I signed up as an affiliate, and then my idea or my goal was to sell that Straight Line Selling System. It was I think it was a $1,500 product, and I was able to negotiate a 50% commission. Okay, now any of your listeners can do this. Any of your listeners can go to any online marketer who sells a product, and they can negotiate an affiliate deal where they generate an income of anything that they sell. There's a lot of sophisticated affiliate software out there where everything can be tracked. So my goal was I'm going to interview Jordan Belfort. He's got this movie coming out in a year, and I'm going to promote it to my list. I'm going to get listeners to go to the webpage to download and listen, and at the end and throughout the audio interview, I plug and promote the product, and I say, if you're interested in learning Jordan's Straight Line Selling System, go to Michael Senoff Straight Line. I set up a website that takes them to a sales page where I can track the sales. So that's an interview which was specifically designed to automate the sales process of an expert's product where I'm going to make 50% of the money. And that can be very, very powerful, especially if you have a big name. You're only doing the interview one time. You're going to put effort into editing and shaping that interview so it sounds the best that it can and that it delivers the message in the most effective way. And once it's done, and once it's up on a web page, and once the description's written and you've designed it, you're done. Then it can sell for you over and over and over and over again, rather than you sell. Can you imagine the difference between 1,000 people listening to that interview on their own time, and then you telling the whole story an hour each time to 1,000 different people? That's the difference right there.
Huge difference, and that's that leveraging and repurposing. For sure. Correct. So real quickly, let me see. I know the first one was Marquee Value. I love that one, interviewing the celebrities and things. And it's definitely helped me in getting instant credibility and igniting the visibility. So
that's a good point. That's a good point. Mm-hmm. And I didn't mention that. When you interview a big name like that, their celebrity rubs off on you. Mm-hmm. You're the person who interviewed Tom Cruise, or Raven, you're the person who interviewed Michael Senoff. So you get a little bit of that celebrity just by being associated with that person. And that's also another magical thing about interviewing celebrities. Look at Oprah. She's a celebrity. I'm not saying only, but for the most part, she's a celebrity because she's the lady who's interviewed all the celebrities and all the famous people.
Absolutely.
And Diane Sawyer and all the big interviewers, Ted Koppel and all of them. When you interview a president, you almost become a celebrity just because you're the person who got the interview.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you know what else, Michael? I'm sure this has happened to you hundreds of times, but also once you get recognized as being someone that does great interviews with the celebrities, you'll start hearing from publicists and, from some of these world-renowned leaders. I just got one in my inbox today from someone that's a celebrity on some major TV shows, their publicists. And so that it's important to make sure you structure your interviews so that you can do a fantabulous job and attract more of those expert interviews to come in effortlessly. And I know you are really good at structuring your interviews. So let's talk about that. Let me put it like this. What's your actual structure process? Because you do great interviews, you ask great questions. Can you kind of speak to us about that? And then I want to get into the money part.
Well, it all depends. If it's a real important interview, mm-hmm. Before the interview, I'm going to do some research on the person, and maybe I'll Google his name. Maybe I'll find an interview that he's already done with someone else. I want to hear how he sounds. I want to hear how he speaks. I want to hear the questions that were asked by another interviewer. I may be able to, if there's no audio, I may be able to read transcripts of one that they've done before. I may be able to go to YouTube and watch him speak. I want to get an idea what the interview guest is like. I don't want to just go in cold and never have met him and never had done any homework and just to start the interview. It's real important you do a little research, do a lot of research on the subject. After all, the interview is for your guest. You want to provide value to your listeners. That is what this whole interview is for. It's for your listeners. It's for you too, but it's mainly for your listeners. So you want to be asking that interview guest the questions that your listeners want to know. So it's so easy to do the research on any kind of topic. One little tip is you can go to Amazon and let's say you're interviewing an expert on the subject of power walking, which is a form of walking with hand weights, a real obscure, small niche thing. You can go on Amazon and you can search the term power walking or walking with hand weights, and you can find books on Amazon, and you can look at the table of contents right on Amazon. They'll show you the table of contents. or you can look at the index. So you can look at how a book is laid out. And you better believe, if it's a published book and it's laid out and there's a table of contents written, you're going to have some pretty good structure and some ideas of some topics that you want to cover. And you can create interview questions just from a table of contents or the index of the book on power walking. And this can go for any subject. You want to prepare a list of questions and have them written down in front of you so you don't freeze up or your mind doesn't blank out, and it'll keep you on track. So you want to research and prepare, and you don't have to be a great talker. You know, I'm doing all the heavy lifting right now in this interview. Usually I'm not the guy answering the questions. I'm the guy asking the questions. And Raven, you know it's a lot easier when you're just asking the questions.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be a great orator. All you have to do is have your list of questions all typed out in front of you, and you can just ask each question one at a time. Ask the question, shut up, and just listen. And then when your interview guest is done, you can go on to the next question. And then after you're done, you can do some editing and clean it up, and you will have a perfectly presentable and valuable interview just by doing that. So I know there's a lot of fear from people that think they have to be savvy and have all this personality, but they really don't. They just have to be willing to ask the questions to the interview guest and just listen. So research is number one. And essentially, to keep it simplistic, have your questions in front of you, get on the phone with your interview guest, outline what is going to occur, tell them you're going to record the interview. You may want to use the interview in packaging with a product that you have. Is that okay? You ask them, is there a problem with that? You don't need any kind of contract. If you can get them to agree while you have the recorder on, you have a verbal agreement. Rarely is anyone going to have a problem with that. And you ask the questions, do the interview, and you do editing. We'll talk about that, clean it up, and that's it. It's very simplistic. It's not hard at all.
I know, the easy breezy way of just getting out there and making it happen. And what I love about interviewing Michael is you could not even have a job, which is how I got started. And, you know, you maybe lost your job, or maybe you're in transition and you're trying to figure out what to do. You can just get in there, like you said, get on your phone, go through the conference call line, and, you know, hit record, get somebody on there, start interviewing them. Don't worry about being the expert, all the things you said. And you can create a business from this right from the kitchen table, which is what I did. And I know many of your students have done the same thing. And it's you don't have to make it tough. It's easy. Just ask the questions and zip it. Right, Mike?
That's right. Ask the questions and zip it. That's really important.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one mistake I hear, there's only a few of us, Raven, who really do a good job in interviews. And one of the biggest mistakes that I want to talk about is if someone's doing the interview and the interview host is just talking too much. I hear that all the time. They want to talk and talk and talk, and they talk over their interview guest. You just got to zip it. Ask the question, zip it, and let the guest talk, because that's what it's all about. And I think the listeners will appreciate that, because after all, I mean, the listeners are here to listen to the expert advice of the guest that you bring on with your interviews. So zip it is good advice, Raven. Real
Absolutely.
good advice.
Absolutely. Hey, just going to take a quick commercial break and remind you that you are tuned in to the amazing Women of Power, world's leading positive programming network, powered by Raven International. Hey, that's me. We invite you to join us every single day, 24/7, for uplifting, encouragement, and, you know, because our goal is to help you reach yours. And we believe that if you want to get more life out of living and more living out of life, then you need to stay encouraged and do the work so that you can create the life, not that you want or aspire to have, my friend, but the life you deserve. So for more exclusive interviews just like this, be sure to go to amazingwomenofpower.com. And while you're there, look to the right, subscribe to our newsletter, and get your free report, Talk Your Way to Success, Fame, and Profit. Yeah. And you know what? Now we're going to go back to more of Michael Senoff, founder and executive producer of HardToFindSeminars.com. And stay tuned, because now we're getting into the cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. We're going to talk to Michael about how to turn all these amazing interviews you do into some serious cash. I like to say turning conversations into a cash machine. Cha-ching! Hey, Michael, welcome back.
Thank you. Glad to be back, Raven.
So let's talk about money, 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 money. I know that you price your interviews from $20 to $197 to $597, and I want to, and even more. So let's start talking about first, how do we begin to transition those free interviews into, making some money, and what's the method to the madness for the pricing and packaging, Mike?
Okay, that's a good question. Well, first of all, my site has hundreds of hours of free interviews.
Yes.
And one of the most common questions is, well, how do you make money if you're giving all this stuff away? Well, I use the free interviews as content to get people to my site. Remember, that is kind of like my flagship reason for people to come to my website, to come listen to the free stuff. Each visitor who comes to listen to the free stuff has an opportunity to enter an email address in a pop-up that's on my website so I can get them on my email list. Okay? So that is your number one goal, to build an email list, because you're not going to make any money if you can't market to them, if you can't send them emails or be able to sell to them, whether it's through physical mail or email. So you got to keep that in mind. That is your number one goal. Build an email list or get data, information where you have control to be able to contact your visitor who comes to your website. So I have all this free stuff. I'm constantly inviting everyone who comes and visits the site to get onto my email list. So how do I make money from all this free stuff? Well, over the years, like I said, I do interviews to build information products. So I have about 25, maybe 30 different information products. And with all these interviews, I create and package and categorize certain interviews to create a product. So, for example, the subject of joint venture marketing. What I did is I looked through my entire inventory of interviews, and I pulled out and created a collection of all my interviews that were related to joint venture marketing. And then for each one of my interviews, after I do the interview, I have a writer who's been writing for me for about 10 years now. And after an interview is done, I have a process. Once I do the interview, I take the unedited interview and I send it to my lovely editor. Her name is Diane. And Diane's been editing my interviews for about as long, 10 years. So I've got a little team. I've got an editor who edits and cleans up the interviews, and they get rid of all the ums and the ahs and the beeps in the phone, and she cleans it up to where it is the most enjoyable listening experience. And that's in the editing. And then that same interview, after it's edited, goes to my writer, and my writer will listen to the entire interview, and she will write a killer headline for the interview, and she'll write a description of what the interview is about. So I have this collection of all these interviews related to joint ventures. They all have descriptions, and then I will set up a web page, and I will create an offer where I'm selling my collection of joint venture interviews, and this is just one example, and I tell the reader exactly what they're going to get, and they can see a headline and a description of what each one of the interviews is about. They know that it's all related to joint venture marketing, and then I'll put a price on it anywhere from, I've sold the joint venture package years ago. I sold it for $597. I've sold it for $297. I've sold it for $97. And then I've even done promotions where I'll sell it for $20. So there's all kinds of things you can do with your pricing. What I've been doing over the last several years very effectively is doing special promotions. So if one goes to my website, they'll see that most of my products range from $97 up to $597. Most of them are in the $297 range. That's if someone just learned about my website, they click on my products, and they'll look at an interview collection or a product, they'll see it's $297. And that's a good chunk of change for a lot of people, and I believe it's worth every penny. But if they're on my email list and if they're patient, I do product promotions where I'll sell that $297 product for $20. And I have found my subscribers love it. They eat it up, and I'm able to sell a lot of them. It's a great deal. They're getting a ton of great content, and they're getting it for only $20. And when I started doing this and saw how well it worked, like I said, because all the hard work is done, the interviews are done, the page is done, for me to earn that $20, it's going to take some creative promotion, and I sell them exclusively to the list of all the subscribers who have signed up on my email list. My sole marketing method for generating the sales for my products is through email marketing. And this is a whole nother side to the business. Yes, you need the interviews. These are your products. This is the stuff that you have to sell and you have to market. But now the marketing end is the email promotions. And the way I'm able to do that is with these special $20 offers. And there's a specific way I do this that I've refined over the years, which is very effective. So I can do a promotion and sell 100, 200, 250, 300, 400 $20 products in each promotion.
And you've mastered that. You really have. You know me. I've gotten them all.
Well, I'm always, and at $20, it's almost like having a subscriber. There's a certain percentage of my list who buys everything that I put out, and they know at $20 the value that they're getting. So when I do another $20 promotion, I have a certain amount of customers who will just automatically buy it. So, and once you do it once, you essentially can do the same thing. So I'm doing the same thing over and over again, but I'm creating new products on new marketing themes and new niches, and you'll never run out of that. So I keep offering my list fresh, new products that keep them entertained and educated ongoing, and it seems like it's working pretty good. Absolutely.
How long you been doing this now, Michael? 10 years, did you say?
10 years. I've been doing it longer than 10 years. Since 2000 is kind of when I got online, but I really started getting serious about the audio interviews in 2003. In 2003,
wow, amazing. And you're right, it is an enjoyable listening experience because of all, the editing and stuff that you do. You know what? Let's talk about licensing some of your interviews. Do you ever do that for bloggers, websites? I know I think other people license their interviews to you, but do you do it yourself, or have you done it?
I don't.
Okay.
I do get requests of people who want, let me put it this way, I don't do it for free.
Okay.
If someone asks me and they want a certain collection of interviews, I'll email them back, or I'll talk to them on the phone and say, well, tell me, what is it you want? And then I'll make them an offer. But I haven't had, they're going to pay some money because there's some value for these.
Absolutely.
I don't want to just give them away for free. Now, I have certain buyers for a high-end product that I sell, which is called the HMA system. It's a hidden internet marketing consulting course. It's a how to become your own marketing consultant. And I package all my products in with that. And part of the value in that is that my HMA consultants can use the transcripts and the audio recordings of my interviews, but they can't load them up onto their own server, but they can link to them. So I've had situations where people maybe want 2 or 3 interviews and they want to put them in as part of their product, and that's fine. I'll say no problem, go for it, because it's all going to lead back to me anyway.
Right, because you do a great job in doing commercials, and we're going to have time to talk about that in a minute. But real quickly, if someone tuning in has a collection of interviews from their telesummits and stuff, and maybe they're going to veer off in a different direction, or they want to do something on there, is there any tips you could give them as far as maybe licensing their interviews to bloggers that write about their topic and, sell them on the fact that, wow, I've got interviews that are perfect for your topic or anything. Does that make sense to you, or you think that's possible? Or?
Yeah, that makes sense, because if they really understand the value of what they had, and like you said, I don't license out my interviews, but I have done licensing deals where I take a non-exclusive license to a collection of interviews and put them on my site. And I know that that's valuable because it does take a lot of time to edit the interview. That costs money. We may spend 4 or 5 hours editing just 1 hour of an interview. It depends how proficient the interview guest is at speaking, because I want to clean up every every double thought. I want to make it pristine. So I do invest a lot of money and time into the editing of my interviews so they sound different than everyone else's interviews. You know, there's so many bloggers and interview people out there. They don't take the time to edit the interview, and it's almost an unpleasant experience listening to it. And this is something I want to talk about. One of the big mistakes that any of your listeners could make if they are doing interviews is not to edit the interview. It will cost you money to edit the interview. It will take time to edit the interview, but this is how you'll stand out from everyone else, because most people are too lazy to do it. And when I first started out, I was too lazy to edit the interview. But if you put an unedited interview and an edited interview right next to each other, and you listen to them both, the listening experience is tenfold. It goes in easier. You're not inundated with poor language and stutters and things like that. So maybe that's part of the reason people are able to listen to all my interviews, because they sound so good.
They absolutely sound good. What's a good price structure for someone that wants to license out their interview to a blog or website? Do you think they should offer it at, what, $20 interview, $500 interview, $1,000 interview?
I don't know. That's kind of hard to answer. It depends on the topics of the interviews.
And who's on the interview.
You know, it's going to be worth what the blogger wants to pay. But like I say, I know how valuable they are because I've done it, because it is expensive to produce one good interview. So you have, if someone's interested in licensing out their collection, they got to do a little research. They got to see what the blogger has. They got to compare what they have with the blogger. What are the reasons why the blogger would want to license it? Mm-hmm. Sometimes there's going to be editing involved. I've had situations where I've licensed interviews. I haven't paid a lot of money for them because the interviews didn't have descriptions, so I'd have to rewrite the descriptions, and then I would do additional editing on the audio. So it could be expensive for the buyer if they want to write descriptions and do additional editing. It just all depends.
And that's why it's so important to have a team like you have, too. Not try to do everything on yourself, so you can go out there and have time to do your research. And that's where I believe, marquee value might come into play, too. Have a couple big names in there that would make your package look a little bit sweeter. Let's move on to one of the products I know that you offer is audio commercials or audio infomercials. Tell us about that, and how could someone start creating something like that themselves?
Well, when you get really good at doing the interviews and you've got it down, and I've got a track record where I've had interviews that generate incredible amounts of leads for the interview guest, and my interviews are designed to sell, to sell a product, to sell someone on the expertise of my interview guest. And so I offer a service, and it's expensive. You may be shocked, but I'm doing an audio infomercial tomorrow with a periodontist, and he's paying $3,000. So we're doing an interview together, but I'm creating him an automated sales machine. We're doing an interview, and we're integrating it with a PowerPoint slide presentation that he's used effectively. And this gentleman sells a marketing service to periodontists all over the country. And he sells a pretty expensive package. I think it's a $8,000 or $9,000 or $10,000 package where these dentists will buy a done-for-you marketing campaign to generate new periodontist clients. It shows them how to market. So he's spending $3,000 with me. I'm going to create and design and record and edit and a sales presentation for him that he's going to be able to use to automate his selling process, because up until now, the only way he's been able to sell these packages is he schedules these phone appointments on a couple days during the week, and he's doing his whole pitch over and over and over again by phone. And this is a very busy professional. So the audio infomercial is when a client comes to me, they say, here's what I'm selling, here's what I'm doing now, and I show them how an audio interview, an infomercial using an audio interview is going to leverage their time, just like we talked about. It's going to deliver the sales message 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, even on leap years, and it's going to automate. It's going to free his time up, so he doesn't have to sit on the phone 2 days a week and do the same pitch over and over again. He can say, what you need to do, Mr. Prospect, I'm going to send you a CD, or I'm going to send you a link to my site. You're going to need to watch the presentation. If you have a high level of interest at that point, you can contact me by email or you can call me. But then the prospect has educated themselves on their time, not his time. So we bought his time back over and over again. So he'll be able to use it as a tool to sell more of his $8,000 and $9,000 and $10,000 packages automatically. So that's why he's paying the money.
I love it. Now, what's the difference of that, the audio infomercial, and I know also you help people create products, and I think you interview them and then you break it down into 5 or 6 different topics or something?
That's correct. Okay. Most of my interviews, I'm not the expert, okay? I'd much rather interview an expert than toot my own horn. So a lot of my products are other experts that I interview, and then I sell their product. Maybe I've gotten the licensing right to their product, and then I enhance it with my own interviews. But they're the star. They're the expert. I'm just the guy doing the interview. But the one product that I am the expert at is doing the interviews, where I share how I'm able to make money doing interviews and how I do the interviews to create information products. And I reveal that all in a product that I've called Audio Marketing Secrets. So they're my secrets on how I do that step by step. And I have created a little page.
I was just bringing that up. Yeah, there you go. Can you tell them about that?
This is one of my pricier products. I sell it for $597 because I know the kind of money that I make just doing audio interviews, and I know the value in this product. But Raven, for your listeners, I've created a page, and I'm willing to offer it to any of your listeners who want it for the next couple days for only $97. So I'll take $500 off the price.
Woohoo!
I haven't had time to change the pay button on it, but if your listeners go to my site at hardtofindseminars.com, the URL for this one page is hardtofindseminars.com/Raven with the capital R, RAVEN .HTM. There's no L on the end, so it's www.hardtofindseminars.com/Raven.HTM with the capital R. And they'll see the page. There's a headline that says Raven Blair, Michael Senoff interview, audio interview secrets marketing system special. And then my email is there. It says email senoff.michael@gmail.com. And I'll offer you $500 off on this $597 product. And what I'll do when we get off the call is if someone's interested, just email me, say you just listened to the show and you'd like to take advantage of the special, and then I'll send them an invoice using PayPal that they can pay for it. But this page will show them exactly what they get with the product. And it really is an A to Z of how I do it. I reveal all my secrets. I've collected all the interviews as part of this product where I've been interviewed, kind of like this one that we're doing today.
Mm-hmm.
Some in more detail, some in less. And then there is a system of how to create an information product that you can sell from $497 to $3,900 and even more.
Absolutely, and it's great. Well, looking at the time, we got a few minutes. One of the things I noticed on you, because I do have the audio marketing secrets in all of your different products, of course, but some of those you break into 2 parts, 3 parts, 4 parts, and of course it's more than an hour's time because we're covering a lot today in the time that we had. How do you decide this interview? I'm not going to put a whole hour. I'm going to break it up into 15. Well, I've never seen you break it up into 15. I think mostly 30-minute or 1 hour segments. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Good question. Okay, let's say that, you can't put value on information. It depends on what someone's willing to pay. It's all packaging. Let's say that I have one interview that shows someone, how to do something, and I want to sell just one interview. Let's say it lasted for an hour. Well, I can take that interview and I can say, Raven, I've got one interview, it's $500, here's the offer. Or I can take that same interview and I can break it down into 4 15-minute parts. And so it's just packaging. It maybe will appear more valuable if you have it into 4 parts. People may like digesting it in 15-minute increments rather than an hour. It's just packaging, and that's what I'm doing with all my interviews. I'm taking them, I'm categorizing them, I'm packaging them on different subjects. It could be 10 interviews, or I could, I'm packaging a new product that I'm coming out with called the Taylor Swift referral system, where I interview a gentleman who's an expert on Taylor Swift's business methods. This is going to be really exciting. We did 6 hours of interviews, but we're packaging it, we're breaking it down. I think we're doing it an hour per part. There's no real mystery to it or no secret. It's just is a way to create more value if someone wants to do that.
Absolutely. Let's open up the lines and take a couple questions, and then we're going to wrap this up and go to our amazing host, Lynn Heidi. Wow, Michael, this has been great. If anyone has a quick question, and honestly, it's got to be really quick, give me a call on 818-941-7617, 818-941-7617, and you say hi to Michael real quick and tell him what you like and enjoy, but I would take advantage and ask one good question. That's what I would do. Again, that's 818-941-7617. Michael, this has been great. Is there anything that I had not asked you? Because, I had about 20 questions. Obviously, we knew we weren't going to get through this.
I know. It went by so fast, Raven. There is so much we didn't cover. There's a lot of nuances and secrets and shortcuts and things that, I could talk about this subject for hours and hours. So if someone wants more, I'd invite them, just come to hardtofindseminars.com, look at some of the interviews that I have for free, try and find the ones related to audio interviews, or if you want to shortcut that process, go to the URL link, the hardtofindseminars.com/Raven with a capital R.htm, and you can get everything I know about how to make money with interviews for under $100.
Awesome. Okay, we got a caller. Real quick caller. Just give us your name and the question.
Mary Smith Moore, what is the one thing that's your special touch that you put on what you do?
Okay, can you repeat that? What is the one special
thing that you do in your interviews?
I just try and be myself. I just try and be real. Be real, be sincere, tell it like it is. Don't be afraid to ask the hard questions. You're there to ask the questions that everyone else is afraid to ask.
That's a good answer. And another thing, when they start listening to your interviews, they'll hear your magic touch that you have. He has a lot of magic touch. Michael, thank you for being the mentor to me that you've been and a friend. I just so appreciate you. You definitely have been a huge, huge part of me being able to develop a radio show to a radio network and all the things that I have. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for always being there for me.
Well, you're very welcome. And I've watched over the years, and you're doing incredible things. I'm real proud of you.
Thank you. Go to hardtofindseminars.com/Raven with a capital R and take advantage of Michael's offer. $5.97, you're only getting it for $97. I'm going to tell you, like Brian Tracy always says, run, don't walk. Go over there today. And for more exclusive interviews like this, be sure to go to AmazingWomenOfPower.com, AmazingWomenOfPower.com. That's it, guys. We got to go.
Hi, it's Michael Senoff. What an incredible experience I had being interviewed by Raven, the talk show maven, on Amazing Women of Power.